committee, I just basically said, look, like, we don't make a movie called Zack and Miri Make a Porno without knowing we're going to be heavily scrutinized down the road by the NBA. So we went out of our way to make sure that everything was within the confines of an R, a hard R, but an R nonetheless. And so I cited the precedent for the sex scene of Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie and Ethan Hawke. I could tell everybody loved it. You know, I saw it on video, and there's a sex scene in the third act of that movie where those two fuck really steamily on top of a dresser, a lot of thrusting, and her breasts are bared. And so my point was like, that's an R, and that movie was meant to be serious. And it wasn't, but it was meant to be serious. And that sex scene was erotic and meant to titillate. Ours is clearly a caricature of sex. Like, you know, we're lampooning porn, and porn lampoons real sex anyway. Because I don't know about y'all, but I do not do 26 positions in 10 minutes. So I said, in order to do that, we have to go a bit over the top, but clearly we're doing this, you know, comedically, and they bought that. And then for the shit shot, I cited Jackass. I cited the fart helmet sequence in Jackass. I was like, in Jackass, Steve-O's wearing a bubble helmet, and there's a hose connected to the funnel at the end of it, and his buddy starts farting in it, and he starts puking the helmet, and his buddy shits in it, and you see the shit. And I was like, that was real shit! You know, and that movie got an R. We have fake shit. Give us the R. And so we got it flipped. And it was that easy. And then when I went to the final mix of the movie, we played it back on the stage at Skywalker, we mixed. And the first time I watched it from end to end on a big screen, I was like, fuck, they were right. It's an NC-17 film. Those two sequences that they really fixated on, to me, were tame. But then when you watch the whole thing in context, I was like, this is dirty. And I thought like the scene that like they really could have nailed this on was when Muse comes out of the room with his cock out. And not because it's a dick on film, because we've seen that before in films, but look at that cock shot. I've known this man for years and I've seen his dick many, many times. That is the biggest I've ever seen his dick. In my life, I'm sitting behind the monitor watching the scene. I'm like, did Muse strap a fucking dildo to his cock? Fucking huge. And basically Muse is just sitting on the other side of the door waiting for his cue, fucking furiously pumping. And it's one more dick and one more pump and he's got liftoff. Like, it is packed full of blood, it just hasn't moved up yet. And I knew, it never really occurred to me until Affleck came over to watch the movie at the house. And he wasn't involved, so it was all fresh to him and shit. And then one of the first things he said about the movie, he goes, fucking Muse is one pump away from a total fucking hard-on. I said, I know. He's like, his dick has never been that big, has it? I was like, are you worried? He's like, little bit. So that was the scene I thought they could have nailed some, but they didn't grab us for that. Admit it, dude, one more pump, you would have been ready to fuck.
That was on its way down already. I guess that I came on the door, it was already on its way down.